No settled family or community has ever called its home place an environment. None has ever called its feeling for its home place biocentric or anthropocentric. None has ever thought of its connection to its home place as ecological, deep or shallow. The concepts and insights of the ecologists are of great usefulness in our predicament, and we can hardly escape the need to speak of ecology and ecosystems. But the terms themselves are culturally sterile. They come from the juiceless, abstract intellectuality of the universities that was invented to disconnect, displace, and disembody the mind. The real names of the environment are the names of rivers and river valleys, creeks, ridges, and mountains, towns and cities, lakes, woodlands, lanes, and roads, creatures, and people. The real name of our connection to this everywhere different and differently named earth is work. We are connected by work even to the places where we don't work, for all places are connected. It is clear by now that we cannot exempt one place from our ruin of another. The name of our proper connection to the earth is good work, for good work involves much giving of honor. It honors the source of its materials. It honors the place where it is done. It honors the art by which it is done. It honors the thing that it makes and the user of the made thing. Good work is always modestly scaled, for it cannot ignore either the nature of individual places or the differences between places. And it always involves a sort of religious humility, for not everything is known or is going to be known. Good work can be defined only in particularity, for it must be defined a little differently for every one of the places and every one of the workers on the earth. The name of our present society's connection to the earth is bad work, work that is only generally and crudely defined, that enacts a dependence that is ill understood, that enacts no affection and gives no honor. Every one of us is to some extent guilty of this bad work. This guilt does not mean that we must indulge in a lot of breastbeating and confession. It means only that there is much good work to be done by every one of us, and that we must begin to do it. All of us are responsible for bad work, and not so much because we do it ourselves, though we all do it, as because we have it done for us by other people. And here our difficulty is almost overwhelming. How, in this global economy, are we to render anything like an accurate geographic account of our personal economies? How do we take our lives from this earth that we are so anxious to protect and restore to health? What proxies have we issued, and to whom, to use this earth in our behalf? Most of us get almost all the things we need by buying them. Most of us know only vaguely, if at all, where those things come from. And most of us know not at all what damage is involved in their production. We are almost entirely dependent upon an economy of which we are almost entirely ignorant. The provenance, for example, not only of the food we buy at the store, but of the fertilizers, fuels, and other materials necessary to grow, harvest, transport, process, package it, is almost necessarily a mystery to us. To know the full economic history of a head of supermarket cauliflower would require an immense job of research. To be so completely and so ignorantly dependent on the present abusive food economy certainly defines us as earth abusers. It also defines us as potential victims. Living as we now do in almost complete dependence on a global economy, we are put inevitably into a position of ignorance and irresponsibility. No one can know the whole globe. We can connect ourselves to the globe as a whole only by means of a global economy which, without knowing the earth, plunders it for us. The global economy, like the national economy before it, operates on the superstition that the deficiencies or needs or wishes of one place may be safely met by the ruination of another place. To build houses here, we clear-cut the forests there. To have air conditioning here, we strip mine the mountains there. To drive our cars here, we sink our oil wells there. It is an absentee economy. Bad word. Every one of us is to some extent guilty of this bad work. Bad word. It means only that there is much good work to be done by every one of us, and that we must begin to do it. How do we take our lives from this earth that we are so anxious to protect and restore to health? We are almost entirely dependent upon an economy of which we are almost entirely ignorant. Bad word. Earth abusers. Bad word. Bad word.